lot of nuts!
Hey hyenas, and welcome back to the show. Are you currently in England? Well, don't worry. I checked everything behind me and made sure there were no nude depictions of women, because God knows if there were, a police officer would show up at your house and beat you to death with a cup of tea. No porn for you, UK. Online Safety Act now requires age and ID checks on all adult sites. Bugger! This is a reoccurring joke where it feels like every single one of these websites that has overnight had to put up a message to their UK user base that, hey, sorry, you're not allowed to access our website anymore unless you verify your ID, or we can't be bothered to implement some sort of ID verification system, so you just can't access our website, period. And then take some sort of jab at it being the British Parliament or legislation leading to that. Obviously, everybody's familiar with Pornhub and X-Hamster's age verification thing, because we even have that here in the US in some states. But here's a screenshot from Hentai, where it says access restricted due to recent changes in the United Kingdom law and regulatory requirements. Access to this website is no longer available in your region. And then down at the bottom, it says quite sad in it. So what exactly is going on? So the UK passed the Online Safety Act or whatever in an effort to try to limit the amount of adult material that may be exposed to minors on the internet, right? As a result, they have made it so that a number of websites need to implement ID verification in order to allow you to use that website. Now, that makes a ton of sense when you take a look at something like, I don't know, Pornhub, for instance, right? In fact, even if you go to Pornhub in the US in certain states, mine included, you can't access it without it giving you a message saying that you need to verify your age, which means not only creating an account on Pornhub, but also giving them your ID, or, and this is the freakiest thing in my opinion, giving them access to your webcam so that they can do a visual check to make sure you're not a child, and then that's supposedly not stored anywhere, and then you're free to jerk off on their website, which is kind of nuts. Now, the freakiest thing is not necessarily the fact that they're doing this on Pornhub and on X-Hamster. That makes sense. Of course, it's just like the checkbox that says I am 18 years of age or over that nobody ever pays any attention to in order to access these websites. They're just making it so that instead of checking that box, you have to actually prove that you're over the age of 18, which, if we're all being honest, probably something that should have been implemented a long time ago, because that checkbox wasn't stopping any minor from viewing adult material on adult websites, right? The freaky thing is that it's not just exclusively porn websites. I am seeing screenshots like this one on Twitter. Due to local laws, we are temporarily restricting access to this content until X estimates your age. They have actually done the thing that we've been asking for 30 years, which is get minors the fuck off of Twitter, and somehow it feels like an L. I promise I will explain a little bit of the downsides of why this is implemented so ham-fistedly, but we gotta take a look at the jokes that people are making about yet another aspect of living in the UK that requires you to have a license. Like, British people get shit on for decades about having a TV license, having a permit for your license, for your TV license, and then British people are always like, oh, shut up, you stupid Americans, that it's not even a real thing. Nobody here has a TV license. Guess what? Now you need a porn license, and it's real, and you can't say that we're overestimating this one, because it's real. It's mad, can go to Amsterdam, smoke weed, shag a brass, all legal. Can't even have a wank here. Game's gone. Oi, what is all this about in? Can't have me a morning jillwaggy without the royal cunt spying on me nosh viewing habits, pish posh. I don't even know if half of these are words, by the way. I'm just trying to say them British. Evening, sir. You are under arrest for having a surreptitious fiddle with your private member without fully completing all government biometric checks on your digital, having a little tug on the old artful Todger license. God. These words aren't in the fucking Bible. I don't know if this was done simultaneously or if this is just like a weird overlap of things, but evidently in England / the UK, they've lowered the voting age to 16 years old, and the age of consent is 16 years old, and I think you can legally drink in the UK. I could easily Google this. I'm not going to. Fuck it. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. At 16 years old, you can vote, you can shag your bird, you can have a pint. 16 years old, no problem. You legally cannot visit 4chan.org. You legally cannot use the entirety of twitter.com. That's kind of fucking crazy, right? In addition to X/Twitter, which seems like a whatever website, right? The porn websites make a ton of sense, but Twitter specifically is a little bit weird. It's also affecting Discord users. Evidently, Discord has to also adhere to the UK's Online Safety Act in order to protect minors from viewing adult material on Discord. I took a look at their website, and it says what's changing for the UK users due to the Online Safety Act. And it's basically like, you know, hey, we already have a teen mode. If you're under the age of 18, then that'll be enabled by default, and you won't be able to unblur sensitive stuff or receive open DMs from people and what have you. But you can disable it by verifying your ID, and it works exactly the same as it does for Pornhub and everything, which is basically you can upload an ID, or you can take a selfie or like a scan of your face. You can see here. Let me open this image in a new tab. Pick a verification option, follow the steps. So you can take a video selfie or you can scan your ID. Basically, turn on your webcam, let Discord look at your face, and they'll determine if you have or have not completed puberty. Funny as shit is that apparently people are using Norman Reedus's highly detailed face from Death Stranding because it's so highly detailed that apparently the webcams think it's a real face, and that has verified. It has been 0 fucking minutes that you have implemented this new legislation to try to keep kids from seeing titty on the internet. An impossible task, I might add, and you've already fucked it up. Is this more sophisticated than ticking a checkbox? Yeah, but that was like back in the 90s, bro. You're asking people to verify that their face looks over the age of 18 in the era of AI? It might as well still just be a checkbox. I'm sure legislation like this is probably long time. Like, this is probably something that's been working on behind the scenes and has had different iterations in being submitted to be passed over like years and years and years or whatever. I have to imagine Bonnie Blue's dumbass had something to do with this. That OnlyFans model that slept with 1,000 guys, and like, oh, you know, there were a bunch of viral videos of like kids who were like just barely 18 or maybe not 18, who knows, getting pulled out of the fucking line by like their fucking moms and shit. Like, I have to imagine that level of debauchery being done and then sold on this mostly unregulated app in OnlyFans for people to be able to watch and even take part in, and it all being tied together with this UK influencer. I have to imagine that pissed off just enough people where they were like, you know what? Fucking nuke it. Go fucking ground zero mode. Get these fucking kids off the internet. And now we're at the point that we're at. My opinion. I don't know, but it maybe, right? If this feels pretty similar to the news from yesterday's video, it's because I was simultaneously paying attention to both of these things, but they just happen to happen at the same time. A little bit of an update to the whole MasterCard, Visa, whomever pulling all the porn games from Steam and itch.io. There hasn't been any update to Steam/itch.io. Currently, those games are still removed or unlisted or privated or whatever the situation is. But there has been just the teeniest bit of counter pushback. So there's a change.org petition that I saw submitted on Twitter. Tell MasterCard, Visa, and activist groups stop controlling what we can watch, read, or play. Now remember, that collective shout group said that they had like 1,000 people call payment processing companies in order to have these games removed from Steam and what have you. Well, this has 100,000 signatures speaking in retaliation for MasterCard or Visa or whomever making the decision that you can't purchase the titty simply because they feel like it shouldn't be approved. Again, at the end of the day, paying for something with Visa or MasterCard on a website should not give Visa or MasterCard the power to decide what that website can and cannot sell. That's basically the big issue that's going on here. And there's 100,000 signatures at this point, but that's not all. So I found this other tweet that's basically just showcasing a thread that's currently on 4chan. If you're in England, I'm sorry you can't view it, but it's basically, hey, Anons, it only took 1,000 people calling these payment processors to fuck up all of our 18 plus video games. Why don't we just call them way more than 1,000 times and tell them to undo the shit that they did? Evidently, a few people have said that they have talked to either the call centers or MasterCard or whomever and said that they already have some higher ups looking into the situation to try to discern whether or not they can undo what's been done or if they even made the right decision in the first place. But the internet is making an effort to try to deal with these angry video game moms in Australia, who I have to remind you have already moved on to the impossible task of trying to ban porn on Twitter. I made the joke of calling it impossible the other day, but they did kind of just ban it in England. So, I mean, maybe the joke's on me? Simultaneous double whammy for the UK. According to this article on Tech Radar, Cloudflare cracks down on UK piracy and VPN users are getting caught in the crossfire. Cloudflare, I don't know what I just called it, but I think I said fire. Cloudflare has started blocking many pirate domains for users in the UK. Hundreds of illegal streaming sites could be affected. This is the first time that an internet intermediary has started blocking pirate sites in the UK. Now, I don't know how serious this is in terms of if it's only blocking pirate sites or whatever, but preventing your ability to use a VPN to be able to circumnavigate your country's set in place guidelines for these things means that somebody somewhere is working together to make it incredibly difficult for users in the UK to view the internet in a manner that lets them see whatever they want to. That's a tiny bit scary. I don't know how related these two things are, but it's weird that it's all happening in the same week, right? Anyway, that's everything that I've found about the UK update. If you guys have any more of these hilarious, oi, have you got a license for that porno mag memes, please link them down in the comments. Also, any additional information you might have. We'll touch on more of this as these things develop, because obviously everything is still fresh and new. Remember to subscribe so that you don't miss my next videos, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Spisu!